Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending the sixth webinar of the Higher Education in the context of Bangsamoro Organic Law, also known as the HECBOL project of the Commission on Higher Education. This is in partnership with the Ministry of Basic, Higher, and Technical Education of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. We are broadcasted live via HECBOL Facebook page and YouTube channel. I am Jean Hisuro, and I will be your moderator for this afternoon. Our webinar for this afternoon is entitled Next Generation, Future of BARMM Through the Lens of Student Leaders. This is a different approach to the typical webinars we have because we will be tackling issues from the perspective of the students through our invited Mindanaoan student leaders. To formally open our webinar, please help me welcome the Director of the HECBOL Project, Dr. Nelia A. Alibin.
Thank you, Jean. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, and thank you for once again tuning in and viewing or streaming live from the CHED-HECBOL FB page and YouTube channel. It is my honor to welcome all of you to HECBOL Online. Welcome to our sixth webinar entitled Next Generation, the Future of BARMM Through the Lens of Student Leaders. Let me start with a quote from Christine Rigor when she said, "It is up to us to live up to the legacy that was left for us and to leave a legacy that is worthy of our children and of future generations." Our webinar for today is really for the young ones, the Generation Z, our future generation, a generation that's grown up in a truly globalized world. This generation is likely to be reflecting on their education as a result of a truly global pandemic, with many facing canceled exams, sporting events, and even graduation. This is also a generation that sees the power of working collaboratively to solve the world's biggest challenges, climate change and mental health being on top of their agenda, and at present, their collective responsibility to self-isolate to protect older members of their community. For today, I am so glad that we have with us four young student leaders who will be sharing to us their thoughts, their ideas, their concerns, the challenges that they are facing, their future, and even about more. So please allow me to mention their names. I'd like to thank Nurbani Bin Jamel C, Macaraya, the President of Mindanao State University, Marawi Supreme Student Council; Fatima Al-Raiza S. Sadjari, President of Mindanao State University, Sulu Supreme Student Council; Renz Allan S. Lacorte, President of Ateneo Davao University, SAMAHAN Central Board; and Damhar K. Pahalawan, President of Western Mindanao State University Student Council. Thank you for accepting CHED's invitation. I want to express my gratitude on behalf of the Commission on Higher Education and of course the HECBOL project. We hope that you continue to watch our future webinars. Follow our HECBOL FB page and subscribe to our HECBOL YouTube channel for some updates about higher education, about CHED activities, and of course other reminders. I express my sincere thanks to all the many individuals from CHED, BARMM Ministry's Basic, Higher, and Technical Education, and to all our followers. Let us continue to contribute to the success of higher education. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Nelia. To those who just tuned in, welcome to Next Generation, Future of BARMM Through the Lens of Student Leaders, the sixth webinar of HECBOL project of the Commission on Higher Education. For your questions, kindly send them to the comment section below, and we will be entertaining them after a short talk from our guest speakers. Today, we are joined by student leaders in BARMM and nearby regions to discuss their vision of BARMM despite the difficulties and challenges the COVID pandemic brings. The webinar will have three parts. The first one will be a short presentation of each student leader's vision for BARMM. Then it will be followed by a quick response portion when they will be giving their comments, reactions, and suggestions to certain current topics or issues. The last part is the question and answer portion, where I will be asking the questions sent through the pre-registration, and afterwards the questions that you, our live audiences, will be submitting through the comment section below. Without further ado, let's welcome our guest speakers for this afternoon. First, we have a fourth year BS International Relations student and the Prime Minister of the Mindanao State University Main Campus, Marawi, Supreme Student Government. Please welcome Nurbani Bin Jamel C. Macaraya. Good afternoon. Next, we have a fourth year BS Education major in English student and also the President of the Mindanao State University Sulu Supreme Student Council. Please welcome Fatima Al-Raiza Sadjari. Good afternoon, Fatima. Next, we have a representative from Region 11. He is a third year AD Political Science student and the president of SAMAHAN Central Board of the Ateneo de Davao University. Please help me welcome Renz Allan S. Lacorte.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
To complete our guest speakers, we have from Region 9, a fourth year BS Information Technology student and the president of the Western Mindanao State University Student Council, Damhar Pahalawan. Good afternoon, Damhar.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's jump right in. Let's now proceed to the presentation of each student leader's vision for BARMM. Let's start with Nurbani Bin Jamel C. Macaraya of Mindanao State University, Main Campus, Marawi. Nurbani, I think you are still on mute. Kindly unmute your microphone.
Hello, sir.
All
Can
right.
you hear me po?
Yes, we can hear you. You may proceed with your presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings of peace to one and all. Let me share with you my thoughts on how do I see BARMM or wish BARMM would be in the near future. BARMM is to be a community with the peoples who are peaceful, self-governing, and progressive. The region and its neighboring communities have long suffered from the ravages of the recurring conflicts. So if this Bangsamoro government is indeed a peace dividend from the centuries-old aspirations for right to self-determination, then I think it is about time that it brings lasting justice and peace, not only in their homes, but in their hearts as well. In fact, if we briefly go into some infographics on the cost of war that I am referring to, it will tell us that at the very conservative estimate, the cost of war in Mindanao from 1969 to 2016 has cost us over 150,000 deaths and at least 600 billion in terms of the impact to the economy. So we are not even talking about its impact to the psychosocial and the mental wellness of the people, the stigma, the trauma of the people in Mindanao, especially the Muslims. As a case in point, let me share with you the Marawi siege, the very location where I am now. On May 23, marked the fifth long conflict with the ISIS-inspired organization in the locality, displacing at least 353,000 individuals. And the result of the post-conflict needs assessment estimated the needs of at least 52 billion for the basic social infrastructure. That was 2017. So, but until now, there are still those who are in the transitional shelters, or there are still those who lives in their relatives. We are not even talking about the possible impact into their education, the children of their education, the youth, and the trauma that they have to endure for life. So I think with this, the BARMM should also effect a governance and a sustainable development that is sensitive to the context and the realities of the people, including their needs and aspirations. Relevant and access to education should be non-negotiable, then including their needs and their aspirations. So, and speaking of governance, the BARMM should ensure an electoral reform. And in terms po of the education, I think one basic or the very yung kailangan nating pag-aralan dito is how do we include the Sharia in the curriculum of the schools in the BARMM region. So it should also be cognizant of the dynamic and diverse peoples in the region, as well as the need for multi-stakeholder participation for this government to deliver more and better. The envisioned restructuring of offices in the BARMM is hoped not only to address the necessary education of cost, including time, but most importantly, how can this strategically operate like the Ministry of Basic Information, Basic Higher and Technical Education, the MBHTE, is one strategic restructuring that BARMM has done for the necessary coordination and link of basic, higher, and educational learnings. Somehow it should have a system on how this will work together. A case in point, in the necessary preparations in basic education, so their students can make it in higher for entrance examinations, among others. The Mindanao State University main campus is having a challenge on the entrance exams, the results of the entrance exams, the very community that the university is out to serve. But the university cannot lower its standards. So, and often what is being blamed is the necessary preparations in their basic education. With these different agencies combined into one, someone is now taking the responsibility to ensure that the children are not only given the access to quality education, but also are able to complete with flying colors in the universities of their choice because the necessary preparations are facilitated, supervised, and supported by the EMBHTE bond. So thank you very much po. Hello, sir.
Thank you for that, Nurbani. Yes,
Apo, I'm done na po, sir.
yes, thank you. For now, we will move on to our next guest speaker, Fatima Al-Raiza Sadjari from the Mindanao State University, Sulu. Good afternoon, Fatima.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
You may now proceed with your presentation.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh and good afternoon. Throughout the years of being in MSU Sulu, my experience as a student leader has put me in circumstances where I met with youths with these two main problems. First problem that I saw and encountered was the students have extremely limited access to education. Second is where there are students who see education as a luxury because they have to focus on supporting their family's livelihood. These problems that I saw from the friends that I have had has led me to have a vision and witness in the future witness in the future equal opportunities to all, where the choice of being a productive member of the society is encouraged. This is important because the most valuable thing anyone can own is knowledge. And to me personally, there are many potentials from the youth that should be nurtured. Take, for example, one of my officers in the Supreme Student Council, Mr. Alcamar Amil Bangsa. He is now a graduating student from the College of Fisheries from our university, and poverty made him discover his talents in arts and in literature, in performing especially our traditional dance, Tausug. But now, as my batchmate, he will graduate as a cum laude and is very successful in his academic journey, as we know he's a cum laude. And also Mr. Alshamir Duhay Luzon, who may be late in achieving his dreams of graduating in a university, but will now, inshallah, in God's will graduate. Given the context of SLU in my experience, opportunities will be wider if only peace and order is maintained, poverty alleviation is focused on, and healthcare is also prioritized now that we see in our current day. Education should be more inclusive. It should not be a privilege, but a choice for everyone. We cannot expect an orderly society if minds and souls are not nurtured. There could be more Al-Kamar and Al-Shamir in society if only opportunities are accessible and are served for everyone and not only in the golden platters, as they say. Throughout the coming years, I look up to the BARMM leadership in helping us be closer to our goals in achieving Bangsamoro success.
Thank you for that, Fatima.
Ulitin ko ang broadcasting.
Now let's proceed to the presentation of Renz Allan Lacorte from the Ateneo de Davao University. Good afternoon, Renz. Renz, you are still on mute. Kindly unmute your microphone. All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right, sir.
Yes, all good.
Good afternoon, everyone, especially to our counterparts in various student leadership arena in the Bangsamoro and in Mindanao. Again, my name is Renz Lacorte from the SAMAHAN Central Board, the Autonomous Student Government of Ateneo de Davao University. And I am also a third-year AB Political Science student. Now, 2 years ago, sometime in December 2018, I think annually we celebrate during that time the Mindanao Week of Peace. I was still an assistant secretary to the Samahan that time. We organized Mindanao Week of Peace in Ateneo de Davao. And last night, I hovered around the archives and found some excerpts from my personal speech during that time as we celebrate Mindanao Week of Peace. Words I found empowering and still relevant today are the narratives that we should create a better future for the young girls and boys of Mindanao. Hence, I personally believe that my vision for BARMM and for Mindanao are not mine alone, but it is shared by many young people out there, boys and girls across Mindanao who dream and aspire for lasting peace and prosperity for our motherland. Today, I reiterate once again that the depth of our dreams and imaginations as young people of Mindanao and BARMM is the strength of our community. Matatag, mapayapa at maginhawa. Matatag, strong, mapayapa, peaceful, maginhawa, comfortable para sa BARMM at sa Mindanao. My visions are anchored and inspired with the nation's long-term visioning, the long-term vision plan, PEG as Ambition Natin 2040. To summarize, the government together with everyone, the civil society, the private organizations, and other institutions in the Philippines, led by the National Economic Development Authority, envisions that by 2040, Filipinos will enjoy a strongly rooted, comfortable, and secure life. In 2040, we will all enjoy a stable and comfortable lifestyle, secure in the knowledge that we have enough for our daily needs and unexpected expenses, and that we can plan and prepare for our own and our children's future. Our family lives together in a place of our own, and we have a freedom to go where we desire, protected and enabled by a clean, efficient, and fair government. In line with this and inspired with the lessons I learned in the peace building works that I have participated in Ateneo and around Mindanao, I strongly envision, together with the student leaders right now and out there, that BARMM will not experience war anymore. I believe that the horrors and the terrors that were experienced during the Marawi siege and other conflicts and war in the BARMM and in Mindanao are, I think, enough already for us to really resist conflict and war. I believe that we should strengthen our policies in ensuring that everyone's lives are secured and that we will be able to prevent these kind of conflicts. During the war, I believe everyone is a victim. No one wins and no one is at the advantage point. Violence is something that we should all condemn and we should all prevent. During the Marawi siege, and we all know that it really pulverized the Islamic city of Marawi, and that young people, families there are really affected. Also, a short story, when I was still in senior high school, we were able to meet some refugees from Marawi in Davao City during our community engagement. And there we met children who also envisions with us that there must be no more war in BARMM and in Mindanao. Now, how can we achieve this? I believe we envision lasting peace, and lasting peace will only be attainable if we have institutions of peace and policies for peace. And also, sometime last year, I also participated in the campaign, especially in Ateneo Davao, for the passage of the Bangsamoro Organic Law. And this law is very promising, and it's working now as in its transition phase. And I believe that we should work on that. We should build institutions that are for peace process, policies for peace, so that we will be able to really trickle down from the system itself to the grassroots, the goal of lasting peace. Secondly, no more poor communities. There should be access to basic social services in the barrios, in BARMM communities. And I believe that there is also a relationship between conflict and development. That's why we should really resist war and conflict, so that access to basic social services will be given to these communities. There will be no challenges in terms of security, and that economic activities will trickle down to the grassroots. Water, shelter, basic social services should be available to the communities in BARMM. So as we all know as well, there are some regions in the BARMM that are part of the poorest regions in the Philippines. That's why we should strongly envision that we should alleviate poverty, and that siguro in recent years, we will not be able to see regions from BARMM that are part of the list of the poorest regions in the Philippines. Third is people enjoy the resources. And what I'm saying is that local empowerment and sustainability. We all know that BARMM is very rich in resources, both in human resources, natural resources, and others. So people of BARMM should enjoy their resources and should be empowered to translate these resources into livelihood, into empowerment of their local communities. And of course, dapat nakatali ito sa sustainability. When we talk about resources, these are there are environmental implications. That is why we need to also protect our environment. We should resist irresponsible mining or sort of an exploitation to the resources of the BARMM communities. We should be very careful in enjoying and maximizing our resources for BARMM and for Mindanao in a way that we should first benefit it aside from others or foreigners. Third is there should be no corruption. That is parang the primary vision, not just of the BARMM, but for the whole Philippines. As we all know, our socio-political history, very stained in corruption. We can only do that if we have an open government in a way that the government is really listening to the people. Efficient government, very open to new creative ideas that are strategized in a way that it will be effectively implemented to the different contexts on the ground, And transparent government. The government should be transparent to its people. Where are the expenditures? How projects are done? Are there biddings? So if we create an open, efficient, and transparent government, then we will be able to also create a trusted government. And when people trust the government, people will no longer do unnecessary tasks that would be detrimental to society. Finally, more infra project. I believe that the Build, Build, Build program of this administration really helped communities, but I also believe that there should be more infra projects that would go down to Mindanao. There are still a lot of projects in Calabarzon, in Luzon, in Cebu, but there's parang still less in the parts of Mindanao, especially in BARMM. And that is why we need to fight for this. We need to envision for this, an inclusive economic growth for everyone. Now, peace and development should be harmonized together. Economic growth should be felt by everyone. And economic opportunities should be available to everyone. Especially in this pandemic, we need that economic resiliency and recovery. And I think we should envision that BARMM and parts of Mindanao should work together in order to translate these infra projects into an economic growth that is inclusive to everyone. Finally, as part of the higher education institution at Ateneo Davao, we also advocate and one with all of us here in the Philippines and in BARMM in fighting and envisioning for quality education from grade school to higher education. When we have an informed and educated society, we also have an enabled and driven society. When people think creatively and think intelligently, then it will also translate to creative and intelligent policies and projects that would really help quell the different challenges that we are facing now. We need to invest in education, especially as we are able to look at on the lens that we are really valuing each and everyone's dream, especially from our children. Finally, we should also take note that the BARMM community in Mindanao is very diverse. That is why we are really for the vision of coexistence. I believe that despite our differences in opinion, beliefs, culture, and religion, we should coexist with each other. We respect the differences of each other, and we use these differences in order to propel us into a future that is inclusive and sensitive to everyone. Also, with this, by this respect and this coexistence, we will be able to mount good governance and policy making that is sensitive to the different realities on the ground. And as what I've always wanted to stress in also my personal philosophy is that we need to really ensure that there is balance. Balance is key. When we go extreme to each other, we will not be able to value the layers in each issue. So that is why we need to coexist. We need to dialogue, intercultural, intra-religious, interreligious dialogue in order for us to coexist and to respect each other. So that would be my visions. And to end, this is a hashtag that is popularized not just in Mindanao, but actually not just in Ateneo, but all over Mindanao and Davao. Hashtag Here Mindanao. I think it is created during the time of the Maguindanao massacre. The Mama Sapano massacre. So yun. But this also the official hashtag of the activities, Mindanao related activities in the SAMAHAN and in Ateneo de Davao. So when we talk about Here Mindanao, I believe more than a hashtag, it is a cause. It is an advocacy. What does Here Mindanao means? I think Here Mindanao is acknowledging first that Mindanao is telling us something, that BARMM is telling us something. She begs for her narratives to be heard. She hopes that her people will listen to her pleas and to her battle cries, to her inspiring stories, to the dreams of its children, and most especially to the wildest imaginations of us all. Now, and then we ask, how many listening ears do we have to eventually say that we are hearing Mindanao? We need how enough it is to escalate social change in Mindanao. We say we need the ears of everyone. We need these webinars, these platforms in order to fight the cause of Mindanao. And most importantly, as a university and as part of the student leadership arena in our various institutions, we need the ears, hands, and hearts of not just Ateneans in Ateneo Davao, but students in the different HEIs in the BARMM and in Mindanao, and all of the people, especially the youth in Mindanao, to be involved, to engage in this cause that is bigger than us, that would continue in the future generations beyond us. So, ayun, para sa matatag at mapayapa at maginhawang BARMM, para sa matatag at mapayapang Mindanao, we are really for these visions, and I hope we are also one with all of the student leaders in their visions as well. Maraming salamat, at para sa future ng isang bata dyan na Moro, that's my visions for the Bangsamoro. Thank you, sir. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ren. Thank you. Okay, so last but not least, let's hear from Damhar Pahalawan of the Muslim Mindanao State University.
Hello everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am Damhar K. Pahalawan, the president of the University Student Council and a student regent of Western Mindanao State University. I would like to talk about our discussion for today is the next generation, future of BARMM through the lens of student leader. And I'll be focusing on the theme that building the youth as a leader for peaceful generation in BARMM. BARMM way forward. No doubt that this pandemic, this COVID-19 has significantly affected our region, the BARMM region, and other relevant institutions that are significantly capacitated to deliver essential services across the region, and also has the stringent health measures that stabilizes the situation, and as well as the political and social economic impact that this virus will persist, which is one of the immediate impact of this pandemic are the education sector, which the school year was not conclude smoothly. Schools were compelled to observe quarantine measures, thus affecting students, teachers, parents because of the mass gathering prohibition from the national government and also the World Health Organization. So this pandemic truly affected the academic institution, which is could not even hold their graduation ceremony, which is considered as one of a highlight for any student who has worked diligently to complete his or her studies. So our ambition for the future of the Bangsamoro. Why peace? Why the youth? Peace is because if we have a peaceful communities, if we have a peaceful region, if we have a peaceful country and peaceful world, we will have a healthy and a good and a better future for our next generation. Why the youth? Because we believe, according to our national heroes, that ang kabataan ay ang pag-asa ng bayan. Let me just quote this sayings by Franklin Roosevelt, that he said that we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. So what I envision, way forward for better education in BARMM. We need to have an upholding quality education, equal education for all, sustainable and attainable education. I envision to be one of the leading region in terms of upholding quality and equal education for all the Bangsamoro people, an attainable ways and sustain its functional education. Total quality education in the region has not yet achieved. We are still most system distributing quality education due to infrastructure buildings, school infrastructure and school buildings, and its sustainability. Skilled workers or teachers and the factors that really affect the educational functionalities such as electricity and facilities, especially in the rural areas in the BARMM. The facilities for advanced education must be event out and multiplied. No one who can take advantage of a higher education should be denied this chance. You cannot conduct a modern community except with an adequate supply of person upon whose education, whether you mean technical or scientific, much time and money have been spent. So as a response for our student leaders of the different state university, I encourage, we have everything. We have the assets, the project management skills, the leadership skills, the communication skills, the critical thinking skills, positive character building, community organizing. We have this as a youth leader and a student leader. We have this asset to bring our region to a better future, and we have to contribute. What we can contribute is we have to conduct a team and the advocacy building, community extension projects, student youth mobilization, volunteerism, patriotism, lobby for school policies, so that we can have an enabling environment which is to have a physical and psychological safety for our students, student responsive programs, student friendly guidelines and policies in gender, ethnicity, and religion, sense of belongingness, access to funding and networking, peer support, student mentoring, value and recognition, and many more. This methodology should, as a student leader, we have to intensify this response and to streamline practices in the field and on site in supervision, because we as a student leader, we are the one who are working for our better future and for the next generation, not just in our region but as well as in the entire world. So we have to be more. We have to empower our fellow student and our, as well as our communities, to have a better future. I want to quote this saying by Sir Winston Churchill, that the most important thing about education is an appetite. Education does not begin with the university, and it not certainly out not to end there. Again, thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you for that presentation, Damhar. Let's now welcome back the other guest speakers for this afternoon. Thanks for sharing with us your vision for BARMM. It was very insightful, and may you serve as an inspiration for our young Mindanaoan student leaders. Now we proceed to the second part of this webinar. I'll be flashing 10 topics or issues, and you'll be giving your comments, reactions, or suggestions for each. So let's begin. I'll just share my screen for a while. Okay, so I would like to call this portion as quick response. You have to be quick on your feet. Once the item is flashed, you have to think of an answer. So the first one is mass promotion. Who would want to be? Your comments? Yeah, Renz.
Okay, sir. I think mass promotion has been parang very popular just recently because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I think this kind of parang this mass promotion is not something that we do usually in normal situation. And we should take note that this activity was parang a result because of the current situation. I think mass promotion should be contextualized in the right in the right context. For example, I think other HEIs in Metro Manila did mass promotion because the COVID-19 really disrupted their their semester. What we should also take note on mass promotion is that we should continue to ensure quality. When we promote students, there should be that quality assurance still on that aspect of the promotion of these students. So that would be parang my initial comments, sir.
Nurbani, would you like to say something?
Yes, sir. Opo, sir. Regarding the mass promotion, on our campus, we actually are the one who push through the mass promotion para ma-implement sa aming campus. And one reason is because it is not the students' fault na nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic problem. And I think it is not the time that it is not the moment that we should be inconsiderate, especially for those students who are poorly performing during the last months, no, po, sir. So and I don't think my on our part, especially in places in BARMM, in MSUREN, I don't think we can continue on online classes po, no? Because yun nga, yung internet connection. And one way para na talaga ma-stop yung spread ng COVID for us to stay at home is actually mass promotion po. So, yun nga, this pandemic has already taken a heavy toll on the lives of the people. And besides, there are cases that will tell us that performances in school is not the sole determinant of someone's success in life. So yun po.
Thank you. Fatima?
Thank you, Sir Jean. About the mass promotion po, as a student from one of the MSU system campuses, we are mainly affected by this mass promotion. And I think during our meetings with our administration, this is not the fault of everybody. This is not anybody's fault. This is a God-given situation, and no one should hold on to the fact that we cannot really ensure on how to continue the classes, especially here in Sulu. Even me right now, I had a very hard time finding good internet connectivity. And if this goes on for months and we oblige our students to go on online classes and we do not do the mass promotion because we want to ensure quality education, and of course we have to ensure that. But first we have to we have to do humanitarian consideration for everyone, because not every students are in the same state of having gadgets or of having good internet connection. I think mass promotion is given naman with consideration and also the deliberation of a system, especially in the MSU system. And I think it's done with very critical considerations from our administration. We have consideration for the nursing students who still have to complete their hours in duties and everything. And I think mass promotion is the solution that we were really looking forward to when the pandemic started, because it was never our fault and we should be helped as students. We should also be heard. And I think that mass promotion is something that the students of MSU Sulu are really thankful, because the administration was really hearing us out.
Thank you. Damhar?
Assalamualaikum. I agree with them, no, that the current situation is not no one's fault, but this is a God-given uh, disaster. Like, not we had this natural disaster. However, on our part in Western Mindanao State University, we don't have mass promotion, even though we push for mass promotion. But in our meeting, in the Board of Regents meeting, we did not yet get the mass promotion approval from our board. However, uh, we give guidelines, we categorize the mass promotion, and we just rename it to maximum lenient, what we call maximum leniency. In our campus, we don't have maximum leniency. We don't have mass promotion, but we have maximum leniency, which is same with mass promotion. Yung nga, sabi nila, mass promotion na tayo, pero hindi lang mass promotion yung term na ginagamit natin, kundi maximum leniency. Kasi there are certain advisory from the higher education that we cannot use the term mass promotion, because like yung even the dropouts daw from before the COVID ay lahat mapapasa. Sabi kasi nila, pag mass promotion ay everyone will pass, and even the dropouts, even the failed student before, before the lockdown, before the pandemic pa ay automatic. So unfair din po, unfair daw din po 'yun. But we give the guidelines which is the maximum uh, leniency, no one fails, no one get dropped, no one get incomplete unless na lang na drop na before the pandemic. So yun po. And also to give really um sa mga ating mga Latin honors kasi parang marami din kasing Latin honors na to raise their concern na unfair naman sa amin. We've been protecting our grades. We've been studying hard for past 4 years, 5 years. Then just we have to this. But yes, kaya we have to be as a student and a student representative. We are also we really think for the betterment of the student body. So, yun po. We don't have mass promotion, but we have maximum leniency, which is same with mass promotion.
All right. Thank you for your answer. Next item is online education. Nurbani, would like to start time?
Right, sir. Yes, sir. Hindi ko po, sir, na nagkuha, sir. Online
The
education.
next item is online education. Yes.
Can you hear me properly? Okay ba, sir? Hindi sir
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, with regards with online education, we have seen some there are especially the conflicts in Mindanao, in BARMM, like for example in Marawi, there are those families, individuals na hindi pa po nakakabawi doon sa crisis na. And then here comes the COVID-19, no, na much more grabe yung impact niya in terms of the economy. So with regards with online education, I think it depends kung saan po it depends sa school. On, like for example, in MSU, I don't think we can really pursue online education. There are this instance where nagkaroon ng online class, but mismo yung faculty ang nawalan ng internet connection. So while the students are waiting for him for I think 30 minutes, and hindi na po talaga bumalik yung connection ng faculty. So it's not just the issue of the students but also the faculty. And there is a way in online class, there is a way when pag mahina ang connection mo, you can go to the internet shops, but it's parang yun lang yung parang instead of protecting them from the COVID-19, must be push pa natin sila lumabas sa mga bahay nila. So as for the online education, in our campus, I don't think feasible po ang online education. So yun po.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Damhar, you were here. Sorry. Yes, go ahead for a while.
To add na lang po, sir, no? May mga instances po ngayon, sir, mga barter exchanges na there are some exchanges from a shoes to a food. And then some are parang food and a cell phone. And what's the purpose? For the online class. Para po ma-pursue talaga nilang online class. And I don't think, I think we should be really considerate in this time po. So yun po.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Damhar.
Yes, I agree with Pres Nurbani na talagang and online education ay pasakit. Like me, I am from Basilan. When we don't have internet connection in Basilan, we don't have even cell phone signal, we don't have signal from Globe, smart. That's really a challenge talaga tong online education for us. But also, as a student leader, we have also to find or to look way to lobby policy. Kasi sabi nga nila, this is the new normal eh. Online education is the new normal. So basically, we don't have any chances to go back to physical class to class, face-to-face class to class. And ang tendency niyan, ayaw din natin ma-delay. Siyempre, we're getting to, hindi naman tayo, we're not getting younger. So, yun. But as a student leader, we have to to look for a certain possibility to lobby for the administration that na sana maka-provide sila ng mga like home prepaid wifi or something na that is feasible na pwedeng magamit ng mga estudyante. In our case, in our case, naglabi po tayo ng mga certain methodology, mga feasible na equipments na pwedeng magagamit ng mga estudyante natin. Like yung home prepaid wifi, siguro naman kaya naman ata ng budget ng ating mga SUCs kasi yun. So naglabi po tayo, hopefully maka-provide po tayo sa ating mga kapwa estudyante because we cannot say that we don't really need this online education. Yes, kasi this is the new normal eh. Ito na po yung new normal. So we need to be more we have to think further para lang po to continue para hindi ma-cut down yung ating mga to continue our education po. So yun lang po.
Thank you. Yes, Renz?
Good afternoon again to my colleagues here in the webinar. I think we should ilagay natin sa tamang konteksto when we talk about online education. I think there are two contexts here. First context is the internal context in the higher education institutions. In Ateneo Davao, we were able to shift to online education. At the first, maraming debates, and I think debates are very important in how we try to develop and improve a system. Now, because of this COVID pandemic, we are pushed to shift to online education. But how do we ensure that this online education is inclusive or accessible to all? That's why we need to have that active dialogue with our administration so that we could lobby policy and mechanisms and interventions na akma sa konteksto ng ating higher education institution. We need to have survey, we need to have dialogue sessions in order to really find the match kung ano talaga ang best intervention. Now, in Ateneo Davao, I think because we are privileged with siguro resources and siguro funds from external funders, we were able to provide home prepaid Wi-Fi to our students, and we were able to train our faculty, we were able to train our student leaders, we were able to mount digital applications, specifically Moodle, and then other forms of virtual classrooms in order to really pursue online education. So we had online education during summer and now in the first semester. But we are shifting to blended learning as restrictions will now ease. But on the second and very important context is the external context. The internal, the HEIs will also be parang relative to what the external environment is. And I'm talking about the national situation when we talk about digital infrastructures. That is why we need to lobby that it should be a right of every Filipino access to the internet, especially in a digital world in the future, that in the new normal, as what they said. I think there are now legislations in the Congress in really fighting for this digital technology and infrastructure in order for it to be first cheap, second accessible, and third reliable. So there should be that play in the telecommunication companies, in the government, in order to ensure that everyone has really the access to online education. And that telecommunication companies would also be of help to the government to provide cheap and accessible internet to everyone. So yun, dalawang konteksto sa HEIs and sa external, sa national situation. And I think HEIs should also be respected in their own intervention kasi we have different contexts. So the interventions are relative to what the context in the ground is. But we all need to be aware that yun, internet in the Philippines is really something that we need to improve. It hinders people to be educated because if you want to shift to online, there should be that infrastructure, technology that is available to every student. And we need to ensure that it is available for them. Yun, sir.
Thank you. Fatima?
Yes, sir. About the online education po, although this is one of the alternative learning tools that we could come up right now during the pandemic because face-to-face classes are still not encouraged. I think we have to also think of the context and where the education is happening. In Sulu, I just make it short and localized. Sulu, they have much choice of doing online education. However, for example, one of the colleges here in Sulu, Notre Dame of Law College, are doing flip and blended learning. That is one of the modes of them for them to deliver quality education to the students and the parents, and it just needs collaborative effort from the stakeholders, which are the students and the teachers, and also cooperation to the school. And we just need the commitment of the school to really deliver, and the commitment from the faculty and staff to really do what to really deliver good education nga po. But online education, I think, is not really for all. We should think of much more ways on how we could handle and adapt to the new normal, as what they have said po. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. For the next item, I want you to just say one word that would best describe the next item since it's very much related to online education. Again, just one word to describe the next item, which is internet connectivity. Just one word to describe it. Fatima, would you want to start?
Slow.
Just one word. One word to describe internet connectivity.
It's uh, improbable.
Improbable. Renz?
Uh, I think, ano, sir, it should be a right.
Okay, all right. Nurbani?
Uh, internet connectivity, unfeasible.
Okay. And last one, Damhar? Damhar, are you still with us? Okay, I think he's still connecting. He's having technical difficulties. So let's move on to the next item. In the next item, you can give your comment, suggestion, or feedback on mental health. Yes, friends?
Okay, personally, sir, this is coming from a personal experience. Really, this pandemic changed my mindset in life. Sometimes there are days that I want to do something big, and there are days that I would just want to just lay down in my bed and then spend time with my family. And I think mental health is very important, and it should be treated as the same as our physical health. I think the Mental Health Act is already enacted. We should just be more strong in the implementation of the IRR, or and of course because we are talking about now universal healthcare. I hope that it is also included there in the universal healthcare, that there should also be provisions for mental health. Now, it is also saddening that there are a lot of young people right now who are suffering from mental health illness, and there are also worst case scenario, and I think you all know that, and it is real. And I think we should first acknowledge that these are happening in our neighborhood, in our universities, and as student leaders, we need to do uh, to work double time in order to find interventions. In Ateneo de Davao, we are working now with the guidance office. We are creating a peer consultant program. We are maximizing our student leadership programs in order to mga kamustahan, just to really know what are the situation on the ground. And yun, this is the something that we should all advocate for, especially that this pandemic really stressed us and made us parang too emotional and or sensitive to all the things happening. So yun, sir.
Thank you. Damhar?
Ah, uh, hello, sir?
Yes.
Yes, mental health, sabi nga nila, itong pandemic, tama yung sinabi ni President na talagang nakakaapekto yung pandemya ito sa ating mental health, mga depression. So I think good thing na when meron tayong mga alternative session like kamustahan session na provide ng sa mga youth advocate dito, and of course dapat yung kandi natin yung sariling atin din na talagang katulad ng sinabi ni President na dapat ito yung advokasya ng lahat. sa ganitong sitwasyon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fatima?
Yes, mental health, I think po, it's also very important, and it should not, our physical health are not the only
Kung si ating control.
prioritized in this pandemic right now. It's really important that you should focus more on how to help the students to curricular activities to when they're struggling or internally, and there should be more programs on how to reach out to these kinds of students po.
Thank you. Nurbani?
I'd like to agree. Yes, sir. I'd like to agree with the press Renz, no, na the mental health should be prioritized in this trying times po. There are cases po where a student, this is ano, parang nangyari na po ito talaga. She wants to enter college ata, and because of yung mahirap na yung ano, she tried looking for a job. Pa-part-time po siya. Usually pa-part-time siya. But because of this pandemic, nawala yung mga pwede niyang mapasukan ng mga job. And she tried even parang maging kasambahay, but wala na po talaga. And she really needs to continue her learning. She needs to buy a mobile phone. But because of yung pressure, yun na lang po. Instead, makamatay na lang po siya. And yun po. So, I think during this trying time, should really, really be considerate. We should practice leniency because hindi po pare-parehas yung level. Knowing, especially in this BARMM, that BARMM is one of the parang yung poor dito, yung reality talaga dito so yung everyone is most kay poor po yung mga dito, not just the internet connection but also yung kabuhayan po natin dito. So, I think again kailangan talaga itong ma-prioritize. And also on academics, may mga especially the graduating students where they tried especially mga thesis nila, mas na-stress po sila because they're trying to look for a way na kung paano ba alternative ways para ma-finish yung thesis nila. Because that's one requirement sa mass promotion to reach a certain chapter on their thesis. But di po na talaga in any other
Kalawa in internet, boy.
They tried online yung gathering of data but wala. And then yun nga, yung grabe yung pressure, yung stress nila. So I think yun po talaga, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let's move on to the next item. Social media presence. Yes, Renz?
Okay, I'll just make it short, sir. Siguro to comment on social media presence. Together with this shift to digital information or this whole digital world, because the restrictions really restricted us to do physical activities. I think social media presence is much parang a powerful platform right now to do something, and I think we should not as leaders as organizations to use social media in a way that we could contribute positively to the nation. When there's an issue, let's enlighten people. When there is someone that is uneducated, let's inform them and educate them. Let's not gaslight on things that are not there, and then we should always help each other. And then, yun, in our cause, in our advocacy, we use social media responsibly. So yun, sir.
Thank you. Nurbani?
So, for this past few, actually months na po, sir, I tried deactivating my Facebook for 2 months, 3 months. And I survived naman po. But again, during this pandemic, I think it's the new normal to be updated to kasi dito na lahat. Dito na yung communications natin on social media. So the social media, yung presence sa social media ngayon is a very, very in a positive way, no? In a positive way po. But at the same time, it can also cause parang yung stress because one reason why I deactivated my Facebook is yung stress ang nakukuha natin sa social media and all yung nakikita natin then ano na naman itong nangyayari dito sa buong mundo. So but then again, marami talaga yung positive side ng social media presence right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fatima?
With responsibility.
Yes, go ahead. I think we're losing Fatima because of her internet connection. Right. So let's just go ahead and move on to the next item. Overseas employment. Nurbani, would you like
Sige,
to
sir.
start?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So, overseas employment. Actually,
Nurbani, sir.
My electricity is back. So, on on a personal note po, no, yung overseas employment, I actually I am discouraging it, especially to my friends, no. May mga kasama ko magaganda mag-isip, magagaling, but then I am always discouraging them to go overseas, no. I always say na mas kailangan ka dito. But we cannot blame them because yung job opportunities in the country, and most is, of course, BARMM also, is not that, parang hindi ganun ka-level ba. So, I think overseas employment, what we can do right now is to, yung sinabi kanina ni Press during his presentation about yung mga agriculture, yung mga fisheries, that should be included in the academics. Dapat i-focus natin ngayon sa BARMM because the BARMM is very rich in terms of mga land, mga natural resources. So so that we can also increase the employment in the local, and then we can also encourage our fellow mga Moro na to stay in our country, and instead of parang yung maitutulong nila sa iba, dito na lang nila itulong sa ating sa bansa ako. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Renz?
Sir, I think again we should place this issue on the context of the Philippines. I think there are people who go overseas with different factors, and I think very important there is to take note that our economic situation are different or lagging compared to other progressive countries. But I think it is also high time for us to reimagine when we talk about employment and how can we contribute best to our nation. Overseas employment is okay, but I hope that when we go abroad, we can go back here and help our country. And on the part of our education system, I think we should be more vocal or kanang clear on really encouraging people to work for Mindanao, to work for BARMM, to work for their community. Because when we talk about us being the future, then we go out from our community who we really wanted to change or to help. I think that would be very difficult. We need to really take that risk, even though I think it's more on the student leaders, those who really want to risk their lives for others, to be men and women for others. We need to take the risk. If hindi naman masyadong maganda ang ating situation dito, but at least we are helping directly. Our talents are poured to our communities, and we help them survive and recover from this pandemic and build a better future for BARMM in Mindanao. I think that would be the best gift that we could offer to our local communities. So it's okay to go overseas, but I hope we can also find ways in order for us to help directly our communities.
Thank you, Ren. The next item is job mismatch.
Job
Siguro I
mismatch.
can start, sir, no?
Yes, go ahead, Ren.
Okay, for job mismatch, sir, siguro more on again on the education part. How do we sure that our pedagogy or our online instruction or our education system matches the demands outside? We need to ensure that careers are already articulated. The realities of the career world are already articulated in our systems, in our institutions. In order for these students, the ones that we are producing outside our universities, the whole education system in the Philippines, are not shocked na siguro or are not having that mismatch. We need to really place it in a way that our skills are utilized in the best possible jobs and employment areas. And then yun siguro sir, it's more on the partnership between the education system and the corporate and the job world, as what we say, parang the work sector, sir. So there is a mismatch because parang hindi pa na-articulate on how important is career to our students. And if we can articulate that, we can strategize creative ways in order to match the realities in the university and outside, then we could actually overcome this kind of issue.
Thank you.
Job mismatch.
Nurbani?
Job mismatch is actually one issue that BARMM should really look into. May mga, especially here, karamihan dito, graduate valedictorian, but naiiwan siya sa, on international, for example, on my international relations. And then dun siya napupunta sa, excuse me muna, friend. Dun siya napupunta sa, hindi talaga related like on a business, and then valedictorian siya, graduate ng valedictorian na nahulog siya sa business. So, or giving mga test na ganun. So, job mismatch is one grabe yung issue talaga dito sa BARMM. It comes to job mismatch. And I really want na yung BARMM to very look into the job mismatches in this region and to also give opportunities to those na talagang because the reason why nag-overseas employment yung iba kasi hindi nila dito nakukuha yung gusto nila. So I think din kailangan talaga tong pag-aralan po.
All right. Thank you. I was just messaged by Al-Raiza and Damhar. They got disconnected, but they will try to reconnect as soon as possible. So we'll just carry on with the webinar. The next item is racism. This is a very hot topic right now.
Siguro, sir, on the topic of racism, it's not something foreign to the whole world. I think racism has been there for centuries old. What we really think now is that siguro on ways forwarding, how do we finally eradicate racism with the creativity and the right messaging of people, especially the youth today, in order to really efficiently work on the change of system. Protest is very important. Online protest has been there, despite us not being in the US, which is now on the rise of the Black Lives Matter and that fight of racism. We were able to be with them in various online platforms. Racism is something parang a philosophy that you are superior than the other race, and the other race is parang inferior. And I think we should also take note of that in our neighborhood here in BARMM and in Mindanao and in the Philippines. Is racism present now? If it is, then how can we do something about it? I think there's no such race that should monopolize something na superior sila and then someone is inferior. I will go back to the very core of coexistence. We need to respect diversity. We need to celebrate diversity. And we should not use violence, killings, and other sort of negative thing in order to cancel a race or to just put a race into a higher pedestal than the other. Racism is something that we should all fight for, especially the young generation of today. Yun, sir.
Thank you. Nurbani?
So as a Moro, I think we have in this country, I think kami yung malaking nakaka-affect ng racism po. we are experiencing yung parang racism in this country. There are cases where the students, most especially yung mga women sa amin, no, they were not able to pursue yung gusto nilang college or yung gusto nilang course because of the parang the requirement needed in terms of yung uniform or yung kailangan nilang suotin. They cannot cover their face and other stuff. So in what ang akin lang dito in racism is not only to cure this is not only to educate properly our children in their homes, but also in governance, in the local governance or in the country. For example, in Malaysia, Malaysia is a very good in terms of Sharia. No? Sharia, they use the Sharia law. So it's one of the peaceful countries in the whole world with the most diverse or ibang race ang nandun, but they don't experience racism because of the good governance, the good example of their leaders, that what they're showing to their constituents and others po. So two factors po for me that we should really educate our children as a student, as a leader, no, in our homes, and at the same time as a leader in our country or in our locality.
Thank you. Next item is domestic violence.
Uh,
Baka
Who would want
Nurbani
to
could
start? Nurbani, would you like to start?
I am not really sure. In this past few, I don't think na-experience namin dito yung domestic violence in our region, in Marawi, because yun nga, we respect yung dito. Medyo nawala na yung mga but then again, in cases like there are cases where I don't think I cannot really say on this part.
Sir, can I proceed now?
Yes.
Okay, on domestic violence, I think it's on the violence in the home, right? I'm sa mga sa bahay, right, sir? So more usually, we all know now in the news that we are hearing, like there are a rise on cases of abuses at home. I believe siguro yun, we continue to, I believe we have that creative channel siguro, or that strategies from the government with the help of the young people and civil society in order to monitor these abuses. I think in Twitter there are helplines, there are health centers in order to really lobby sino yung mga na-abuse at their home. And I think we should say it strongly that we are really against this. There should, I think in Davao, we have this Magna Carta for women. There is that special help desk for women, for children. And I think other LGUs should also benchmark on that. There should be parang institution that would really focus on this particular issue so that we could really quell this one. And I hope these people who are doing this could realize there's no reason for us to be parang sigurong be violent to our loved ones or to children or to women. We need to have that kind of education. And again, we go back to education, that we nurture our young children, especially in Mindanao, to grow as someone that is not violent but more peaceful. And I think that anchors with our vision for BARMM, which is a mapayapa, a peaceful society. Yun, sir.
Thank you. Is Fatima already here? For a while outside. Fatima?
Common talaga mga biyahe.
Fatima, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes? Okay, she's still going in and out. Let's move on to the next item. I think this is the last. Quality education.
Sige. Siguro, sir, I'll start. On quality education, I think we already reiterated that one in our previous presentations, but I would like to re-echo again the elements on how can we ensure that we have quality education. As someone whose mother is a public school teacher, I believe that CHED and DepEd and other education institutions should reimagine how do we train teachers, how do we demand things from our teachers, and how we compensate them properly. When we have good mentors, when we have good teachers, they are trained specifically in the context right now with the change in technology, with all of this blended and all of these concepts. We need to ensure that they are properly trained, properly equipped, and that there's that sense of mission in them, the heart to really teach the young people. Uh, Teachers are very important in the role of especially on grade school in basic education. Now in higher education, we ensure that by really placing a program of quality assurance, in Ateneo de Davao, we have really a vice president for quality assurance. And I think universities should also do that. There should be that clear strategic planning. How do we make sure that our syllabus, our pedagogy are angkop or akma sa konteksto on how we want to have quality education. When we talk about quality education, it's not something that is very technical lang that we ensure that children should learn 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. There should be that heart there. There should be that formation. I think private education institutions like Catholic schools and Jesuit schools have that. But in the whole education system, and I think siguro the recent development in the Congress with the GRMC now in the K to 12 curriculum na part mas na-highlight siya, that we should take that seriously. The formation of our students, we are not just producing robots, technicians, technocrats in their field. We are producing humane persons who really want to change the world and who really want to help others. And that is, I think, quality education.
Thank you. Nurbani?
So, alhamdulillah, no, for the project of the CHED, no, the access to tertiary education has now been, so meaning the quality education is now free to all of the students. So, and for BARMM, I think quality education is not just about the merely the access, but the relevance. As Renz said, that we are training not robots but human. So what we can do now is not just to focus on the curriculum, but to on how to understand yung mga students natin on saan talaga sila on how or where are they parang more focused ba on saan sila pwedeng mas anong tawag dito, mas focus ba o yung mas gusto nilang puntahan so that we can nurture yung mga ideas nila. In some countries, the reason why medyo grabe yung quality sa yung education nila, yung quality ng education nila is because very iba-iba yung mga courses na pwedeng puntahan ng students. They can also learn parang not just sports but e-sports meron ng aral sa mga e-sports, meron ding courses on music. So depende. So on this on the region, sa BARMM region, I think we should also look for parang mas relevant sa places natin. Like for example, Sharia and agriculture. We should be really focused on agriculture because right now, most of the students does not really parang di nila mahanap yung importance ng agriculture in this time, no? But after they graduate and after they realize what is really happening in their surroundings, they parang ano sila, sana naging agriculturist na lang ako, sana naging fisheries na lang ako. I have a parang not friend, faculty where a mentor of mine na she's a chairperson in this department, English department to be exact. And then she told me that if I can go back in time and I would like to learn agriculture because mas makakatulong pala yon sa environment na kung saan ako. So I think that's very one na we should really be focusing on quality education na kung ano pa talaga yung relevant on a certain area, not just yung curriculum, pare-parehas yung curriculum because we cannot really, yung parang pare-parehas lahat. So yun po, sir.
All right. Thank you. So that concludes the second part of the webinar. Let's now go directly to the questions that were sent through the pre-registration. These are just the common ones that we have received from them. Let's now go to the first one. What are your challenges in learning from home? As students, what are the challenges in online learning and blended learning? Would you like to share some of these challenges as well?
Siguro ako, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Because we are now starting our online classes in Ateneo Davao, so I think the main challenge is really because we shifted to more self-paced learning, less of the teacher and more on the student. I am really that someone who really value the campus culture. So when I see classroom, I have that psychology to really learn things. And then when I go to the office of our central board, I can work on extracurricular. The environment matters. So now I am at this desk and next to me is my bed. So that is a challenge for me to really compel myself to do works. And because of this very flexible deadline, I tend also to cram things in the last minute. And then time management and priorities. Because it's very free. You are at home. You just parang the bed is next to you, so na hindi yun siya parang the conducive area of learning, and I think that's very important. And I think challenge is also the online connectivity. It is a challenge to most of the students in the Philippines right now, and I go back to our advocacy as student leaders that we should fight for better digital infrastructure, cheap, reliable, and accessible internet connection for all. So yun, sir.
Thank you. Nurbani?
Apo, sir. So on my part po, I have actually taking some on my last semester, instead of mga majors, I am taking up parang LA courses na. So tapos ko na yung mga majors ko na already, yung practicum ko okay na rin. So for me, I really don't have but maliit lang talaga yung mga requirements ko on online, since we also highly discourage talaga in our system yung online classes. Like for example, Renz Allan S from Sulu, Marawi Sulu, and then MSU Sulu, and then yan nawawala talaga. So in this on part of some students, I think very very hard sa kanila, like mas nakaka-stress instead na yung the usual na ginagawa mo, you go to class and then you listen and then after that you go home, you finish other extracurricular mo, but then ngayon kay nag-aaral yung iba tapos nawawala-wala yung connection mo, and then ikaw nasa-stress, ano kayong pinag-aralan nila if you're really really interested, ano kayong pinag-aralan nila, ano kayong na-miss ko, ano yung mangyayari sa grades ko, ganyan. Parang especially yung mga aiming natin sa mga cum laude, ganun po. Very stressful sila ngayon kasi yung paano, how can they learn, ganun. And then, I have a funny experience po on online, no? Kasi as LA, I have one requirement on INC ko last time. And then they gave me a requirement to submit an oration via online through Messenger. And I cannot communicate properly with my faculty, and then I contacted the chairman of this department to contact that faculty, parang ganun po, because yung internet connectivity in our place is mahina talaga. And then I prepared, and I have many parang many shots, many trials, mga around sobra 10 na tries for my oration. And then when I'm already going to submit yung aking requirement po, naka-chat po yung aking faculty, yung aking instructor na nagraduhan na kita. So I prepared for yung grabe yung practice ko at the night around 12, nakadamit pa ako, nakabagong ligo, nakadamit, formal dress, tas nag-oration, nagising ko yung mga ano namin. But then again, sinabihan lang ako ng nagraduhan na. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe hindi talaga para sa amin ang online class in MSU. For now.
Sir, siguro sir to add.
Thank you for your answer. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. And as much as we really recognize the weight of responsibility coming from the government and the institutions in ensuring that online learning or education should be very parang comfortable to everyone, accessible to everyone. But I think we should also take note of the challenge given to us as students, that resilience, that attitude to adapt to a new learning. You know, it's very difficult. It's not just us who is struggling. Also, the workers are struggling. Imagine you wanted to create a normal situation from an abnormal situation. So that's very, very challenging. So I hope we are up for the challenge, but in a way, we should not also invalidate the different experiences of our students and our faculty in the shift to online learning.
All right. Thank you for your answers. The second most common question is, how can institutions empower student leaders?
Yes, sir?
How can institutions empower student leaders?
I think
Yes,
it's
go
very simple question, no? That thank you. I think it's very simple that to empower them, we should include them in decision making and to give them a role, to make them understand, ipa-understand sa kanila yung bigat yung pagiging student ko. Like for example, in our case, the administration gave us their trust to spearhead the distribution of relief goods or the relief assistance to the stranded students in our campus. And not hindi lang dyan, but then when may nagkakaroon tayo ng mga decision making, they ask for the parang 2 cents of the students on how will it be, if it is okay with us or ganito ganyan, or sa tingin namin ang mas magandang way. So I think very simple to include them and to allow them to participate in decision making and at the same time implementing.
Thank you. Yes, Renz?
Yes, sir. Siguro I would like to add to Nurbani's input on participation. I think more than participation as well, we will not just be able to include them and let them participate, but let them lead. Allow them to lead. Allow them to make the hard decisions. Allow them to be to know that their decisions matter, their voice matter in the policy making, in the decision tables.
Sir?
In Ateneo, parang we are really privileged and grateful for our administration for giving us really that autonomy to do activities that are for the student body. And I think that's very empowering. And to add as well, there should be that support channels, leadership programs, camps, talks, webinars like this, in order for them to be informed and to be given inputs in order for them to really be better leaders for the student body. So again, we should not just create a space for them to participate and to include them, but also create a space in a way that they will also create their own spaces, lead them to these spaces, take up space in society, and don't parang try to cancel them outright when they have done something wrong. Instead, tell them that they should learn from that situation, empower them that next time they will do better things, and teach them accountability and that relevance to what they're doing. So yun, sir.
Thank you. Fatima, welcome back to the webinar.
Yes, thank you, sir. So
The
sorry for that.
question earlier is, how can institutions empower student leaders?
How can institutions empower student leaders? I think it's the same way as how students empower institutions. There should be a two-way support to each. Institutions could empower the student leaders by hearing them out, by letting them be, and just knowing what they really need. And I think I have experienced that. I'm really thankful for my college journey that I have experienced, being heard by the administration and also by people who are of authority and who could influence like the many, not just the students. And also the students should also be constructive. They should be resourceful on how they could build up themselves and not just be and not just yung hindi lang umaasa sa administration. Should be a two-way effort. It should not be a student like productivity should come from both the institution and also the students, and I think that's what we should see more in the coming years po, especially in BARM.
Thank you. We have here a question from our one of our viewers in YouTube. This is from Annalie Ambos. How can we achieve peace and equality of the people? Renz would like to answer the question first.
Okay, sir. How can we achieve peace and equality of the people? It's a very big answer, no? That's a hard question. And I think up until now, uh, we're still on that, on attaining peace and equality of the people. And I think it's not something that we will gain tomorrow or next year. It's a whole process of being better each day, choosing to be peaceful and to see people in equal terms each day. So more on a process, a daily choice of wanting peace and wanting equality. But on the long-term basis, we talk about policy making. We should ensure that our institutions, our programs in the government and in the institutions are backed with policies that are for peace and for equality. For example, in equality, we should still lobby for the uh, SOGI Equality Bill, which is up until now pending in the Congress. In that way, when we try to craft policies, we are trying to change system and systemic changes. And then for peace, I believe we have all signed parang the Bangsamoro Organic Law, but there should be policies that are supportive on that particular law in order to really achieve peace and self-determination of our Moro brothers and sisters in the Bangsamoro. But to be honest, it is very utopic when we talk about we want a peaceful world and an equal world, because there are really realities that are not for this kind of things. But the world continues to work, and I think that's also why we are here in this webinar and young people congregating and convening together because we want to achieve peace and equality for all.
Thank you. Yes, Fatima.
um how can we achieve peace and equality of the people? I think there are no man-made laws, or man-made laws are not perfect, and it should be this question should only apply this question could apply to a certain group of people lang po, like because there are many different needs of people in an area. People in Manila need other things. People in Sulu have different cultures. We have many different clashes. Although they're good clashes. We have many differences. However, we will put it on the context of a student leader coming from BARM. There's a quote from Mahatma Gandhi that says, "You should be the change that you want to see in this world." As a student leader, I'd just like to apply it and to my constituents that being a very peaceful person and applying equality in the institution that you are in is very important. And I think it starts with oneself and influencing other people, especially now in our position that we are student leaders and we have to show it to the people that are around us, to the people that we can influence, that we are for peace and that we could actually achieve equality in our own little way.
Thank you. And Nurbani,
Yes, sir. Yes po, sir.
the question is, how can we achieve peace and equality of the people?
Apa. How can I achieve peace? As I think as a student leader po, we should from the very first we should know what is right from wrong. Opo na so just let us just keep what yung tuloy lang natin yung ginagawa natin, and then let us always remember that if we really want change or peace, there's always a peaceful way, not the violent one po. So I think that's that po.
Okay, thank you. We have here a question from one of our Facebook live viewers from Elenita Cruz. How do you ensure student welfare services are delivered to the student body at this time of pandemic? I think she wants to get your ideas for this. On maybe you can suggest also some ways on how we can assure that the services are delivered to the students. Fatima, would you like to begin? Right. Again, Nurbani.
Okay. Thank you, sir. On our student council po, what we did was we used social media. Social media through our page. We were able to post and to we're able to post, no, and then ask the students if may mga concerns po sila regarding their academics or any other concerns po, no. And then there are eto na nagkakaano na yung mga message nila, yung mga comments nila, and then some are those na hindi nagpapakilala because to protect their yung ano nila. And then after that, we consolidated all of their issues, and then we properly addressed it to the concerned offices po. And then after that, the administration called a meeting to talk about kung ano ba talaga yung mga concerns. At pinag-isip rin po kami kung ano ba yung mga possible ways na gusto naming mangyari at possible and feasible ways na pwedeng kaya ng administration at the same time the students po. So yun po.
Thank you. Fatima?
Yun po, like how Prime has been doing po in their Supreme Student Council or government in Marawi. That's what we do po here in Sulu. We even not on our website kasi mahirap kay access. You could do it on Messenger. Students could still reach you on Messenger. And as a representative din naman po, you have to be really focused on what the students really need and not just what they want. Kasi there are lot of students who complain lang, di ba? So we have to be really meticulous on what to choose on what to hear them out and what to parang involve the institution with. And I think ensuring the student welfare and services in of the student body at this time of the pandemic should not only be the sole responsibility of a student leaders. We also have to be reminded of our directors that could help us in the school, and this fight is not only ours. Kailangan din natin
Okay, she got disconnected. How about you, Ren?
Yes, sir. How do we ensure? I think we create yon because we have social media right now. We ensure that our social media accounts are active in responding to these concerns, in gathering these concerns. What we usually do in Samahan is that we do constituent checking. So through Google Forms or through text messaging, we will be able to check our constituents, how they are, their situation, what are their needs. And then and because of this strong dialogue and active dialogue with the admin, we're able to swiftly lobby their concerns to the particular offices. And a part of it is also student welfare means the mental health of our students. That's why we have also mounted programs such as peer kamustahan. We publicize the helplines of the guidance office so that they can have parang someone to talk to. And I think Ateneo de Davao also parang provided faculty friends, parang class advisors in the grade school concept so that students will have someone to talk to in this pandemic. So, yun, to be able to ensure delivery and efficiency, we need to have that efficient system in gathering, checking our situation of the students, and in responding to this with programs that are aligned to their concerns. Yun, sir.
Thank you for your answers. In the interest of time, I think we need to close the question and answer portion. Um, Maybe a sentence or two part, to impart to our viewers as a closing statement. Maybe Nurbani, you can begin.
Apo. So, thank you very much, sir. And first and foremost, sir, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to share our ideas and our vision to BARMM po, no? And to our viewers, thank you very much for listening. Magto 2 hours na and andyan pa rin kayo. So, thank you very much. And as a student leader and kayo rin, uh, let us always remember our responsibilities in our communities. Whatever we do in life, whatever we do, whatever we aim for, let us not always forget kung saan tayo nanggaling. Where we started our dreams, at kung ano yung mga naka-inspire sa atin. Whether we go overseas or not, let us not always forget our community. No? Kahit maging mayor or president ka man ng country, you will always go back to your community. And of course, it is your home where you started making dreams and lahat-lahat na po. So that's one of my ano po. Actually, I just want to share my dream, and my dream actually is to make the lives of the people of my community to be contented. Yun lang po. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Renz?
Okay, I would like to first thank use this opportunity siguro to thank the CHED-HECBOL for the invitation and for our viewers and to my co-student leaders as well who are part of this webinar. Uh, First, siguro, I think we need to recognize that my two student leaders here are struggling in their internet. So I think it is an explicit call to CHED, to government agencies, to people who are viewing to really support and create improvements in our digital infrastructure so that we will be able to have internet that is cheap, reliable, and accessible to all. Siguro, as a closing remarks, during this pandemic, I was able to find time in watching documentaries, specifically news content from Shara Zambrano of ABS-CBN News about the situation in the Spratlys. So there, I find it rekindled me to that sense of patriotism of wanting to do something big for the nation. I'm not coming from BARMM. As someone who is outside BARMM, I would like to assure everyone in BARMM that we are with you in your vision. We may have differences in cultural background or in religion, but we exist in one Mindanao, we exist in one BARMM, and we need to work together and reason together, help each other in order to achieve things. And then to the young people out there, those who are watching and those who are not, continue to dream because our resources are finite. So they are not infinite, they are finite. So uh we lack resources, we lack connection. But I think what's not lacking on us is our capacity to dream and to imagine things. It's limitless, it's boundless. And as long as that we have that depth of dreams, that strength of dreams, we will be able to create big changes in society. Continue to love and hear Mindanao and to do things para sa bayan. Yun, sir. Salamat.
Thank you, Renz. Alriza, parting words for our audience.
Parting words.
Yes.
I just would like to thank Ched for allowing us to be a part of for hearing student leaders from Mindanao, and
representing the students. I hope our words goes a long way for the support of the students here in Sulu, and I wish everyone good luck, and let's all stay safe.
Thank you. And on that note, I would like to present to you your certificate. I'd like to read the citation of the certificate. Republic of the Philippines Office of the President Commission on Higher Education. Higher education in the context of Bangsamoro Organic Law Project and in partnership with the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education of BARMM. This certificate of appreciation is presented to Nurbani Bin Jamel C. Macaraya, Fatima Al-Raiza Sadjari, Renz Allan Lacorte, and Damhar Pahalawan, for being one of the guest speakers in Next Generation, Future of BARM through the lens of student leaders, the sixth webinar of HECBOL project on July 1st, 2020 at 1 p.m. via Facebook and YouTube Live. Signed, Director Nelia A. Alibin, Director of the HECBOL Project Commission on Higher Education. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you,
Wait
sir.
for all the sending your I will just transfer. Right. So thank you once again for accepting our invitation to be our guest speaker for this afternoon.
Apa.
So that ends our webinar for this afternoon, and we hope you had a great time, and we have imparted you knowledge, and we have attained our goal for this afternoon. And see you on on the next webinars and in the future sessions of HECBOL Online. To those who have pre-registered, we will be sending you a feedback form within an hour after this broadcast. Once completed, we will send an electronic copy of your certificate. You have until 5 p.m. of July 6, 2020 to respond to the feedback form. Stay safe and have a great day.